Have you ever been reading a book that hopscotched through time, leaving you flipping back to earlier chapters to figure out how it all fits together? Or maybe you've breezed through a novel that marched steadily from start to finish, never deviating from a straightforward chronology. Well, those are examples of non-linear and linear plot structures in action, two different ways of stringing together the events in a story. But what exactly do those terms mean, and how do you choose the right structure for your own tale? That's what we're going to unpack today. By the end of this video, you'll have a crystal clear understanding of linear and non-linear storytelling, the pros and cons of each, and how to wield them like a pro in your own writing. Sound good? Let's dive in. First up, let's talk about linear plots. This is the most traditional, straightforward way of telling a story. You start at the beginning, then follow the events in the order they happened until you reach the end. It's like walking a straight line from point A to point B. Easy peasy, right? The big advantage of a linear structure is that it's super easy for readers to follow. There's a clear chain of cause and effect, so readers can effortlessly see how each event leads to the next. This structure works great for plots that are all about the external action and conflict, where the main draw is finding out what happens next. But linear plots can also be a bit, predictable. If readers can see every twist and turn coming from a mile away, they might start to get a little snoozy. And if your story is really about the inner workings of your characters, their memories, their emotions, their complicated backstories, a purely chronological structure might struggle to capture that depth and complexity. That's where non-linear plots come in. These are the wild ones that play hopscotch with the timeline. You might start in the middle of the action, then leap back to the character's childhood, then fast forward to the climax. Or you might juggle multiple timelines at once, slowly revealing how they intersect and impact each other. The beauty of a nonlinear structure is that it creates intrigue and suspense. By parceling out information bit by bit and rearranging the sequence of events, you keep readers on their toes. They're constantly trying to put together the pieces of the puzzle, which keeps them engaged and invested. Non-linear plots are also brilliant for really digging into characters' psyches and histories. You can jump around to different formative moments in their lives, revealing new layers and motivations at just the right times. But, of course, there's a danger to all that timey-wimey stuff, too. If you're not careful, a non-linear plot can leave readers more confused than intrigued. If the jumps in time feel random or unnecessary, or if you don't provide enough context for each scene, readers might just throw up their hands and say, "I'm lost." Managing a non-linear story takes careful planning and clarity to make sure all the pieces snap together satisfyingly at the end. So, how do you actually go about crafting an effective linear or non-linear plot? Here are a few tips. For linear plots, the key is to make every scene and event feel essential. You don't want any saggy bits that are just there to fill space. Each moment should either advance the plot, reveal character, or preferably both. To keep things spicy, focus on building suspense and surprise through how you reveal information, rather than the order of events. Sprinkle in some foreshadowing, set up some dramatic irony, and when in doubt, throw in a juicy twist. For non-linear plots, it's all about being intentional with your timeline hopscotch. Every jump should have a clear purpose, whether it's to drop a crucial piece of backstory, to build suspense, or to create a thematic parallel between past and present. It helps to have a strong central storyline that anchors the whole thing, a sort of narrative home base that readers can return to between jaunts to the past or future. And don't forget to leave plenty of breadcrumbs to help orient readers in time. Little clues like changes in setting, characters' ages, or verb tense can work wonders. Whichever structure you choose, the most important thing is that it serves your story. A fast-paced thriller might be better off sticking to a linear structure so that the breakneck pace never lets up. A quieter, more introspective character study might benefit from a non-linear approach that slowly unpacks the protagonist's inner world. And of course, you can always mix and match. A mostly linear story with a few well-placed flashbacks or flash-forwards can be super effective. As you're planning your next masterpiece, try sketching out a few different versions, a linear outline, a non-linear outline, maybe even a funky hybrid. See which one feels the most natural and compelling for the story you're trying to tell. Experiment, play around, and don't be afraid to think outside the box or the timeline. And hey, if you want to dive even deeper into the nuts and bolts of story structure and plotting, I've got a whole course where we really get into the weeds. If you want to take your skills to the next level and support the channel, you can find that link down in the description.